In the headlines, Academic Staff Union of Universities extends its warning strike by 2 months as negotiations continue. 31 Nigerian students from Romania return home as evacuation exercise continues. Vice President YemiOsinbajo notifies President Buhari of presidential ambition. And on the foreign scene, renewed diplomatic talks with Russia might open the way for more civilians to evacuate a day after the war intensified in western Ukraine. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Asiwaju Bola. Thank you for joining. The details now. Academic Staff Union of Universities has extended its warning strike for another 2 months. The union made the resolution to extend the strike at its National Executive Council meeting held in Abuja on Sunday night. According to the union, it is concerned that there were no concrete offers from the government to convince the union to call off the strike, and frowned at the statement credited to both the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy and the Director General NIDDA to the effect that University Transparency Accountability Solution has failed the integrity test. The demands include the revitalization of public universities and academic allowances, University Transparency Accountability Solution UTAS, promotion arrears, renegotiation of 2009 ASUU federal government agreement, and alleged inconsistencies in integrated payroll and personal information system payments. Now, suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari will stay in detention for another 2 weeks as Federal High Court adjourns ruling on his bail application till 28th of March. Justice Emeka Nwite, however, granted his prayer again to remain in the NDLEA custody till the next adjourned date. The 7th batch of Nigerian evacuees from Ukraine arrived to Nigeria on Monday at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The Nigerians arrived aboard a Turkish airline and were airlifted from Romania, where they had fled following the invasion of Ukraine. The evacuees, numbering 31, were received by officials of the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, and the Refugee Commission. This is the second set of evacuees from Romania following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which has left many displaced. However, unlike the previous batches of returnees that arrived via chartered flights, the 31 evacuees arrived on a commercial flight. Hundreds of people have been killed in Ukraine since Russia invaded the country, while over 2 million people have been displaced. 2 Ukraine mayors have been abducted by invading Russian forces, bringing strong condemnation from the European Union. Now, fear grips residents of Shimfida village after withdrawal of military personnel providing security to the village in Jibia local government area in Katsina State. The 7 children are reported dead and 19 people abducted in the village, in addition to several others unaccounted for. Abdullahi Yamadi meets some of the people from Shimfida village at an internally displaced persons camp in Jibia. The report.
About 7 of their children suffocated and died in the 2 vehicles that conveyed the few that were lucky to escape the rigor of trekking the over 47-kilometer Shimfida to Jibia feeder road. The villagers left Shimfida to Jibia town, leaving behind everything in terms of food, clothes, and other valuables. Arrived this camp exhausted, tired, and weak. The over 15,000 residents of Shimfida village arrived in Jibia, while others proceeded to some communities in Madarumfa area of Niger Republic, where they are taking refuge, leaving behind a woman on labor, about 18 old men and women who are very weak and tired. These IDPs say as they deserted Shimfida last Thursday, bandits in their numbers surrounded the village burnt all the properties they left behind and abducted 19 people who were unable to escape, mostly disabled and the old ones. When we left Shimfida, the bandits went in and burnt everything that belongs to us. They burnt everything, almost everything was burnt down, and they took away some of our properties. Kabiru Hamisu Shimfida, whose wife and children are among the abductees, called on the government to assist in rescuing their families and provide securities to the community to enable them return to their ancestral homes. My wife and my child were abducted. I left them there as I was confused. They have been abducted. Closed television camera captured about 5 old people who just arrived at the IDP camp, exhausted and tired. Everybody ran for safety and left us in the village. The bandits came and abducted us, but we were lucky. We were freed. They know we have nothing to pay ransom, and there is nobody left to pay for us. This boy is my grandson. I never thought I would see him again. I thought he was kidnapped, abducted, or he has died. Though there is no official IDP camp in Katsina State, there are over 8,000 internally displaced persons from Shimfida village alone taking refuge in this primary school. The IDPs require urgent attention to cushion some of their hardships, especially food, clothing, and shelter. There are about 9 of them, but at this point in time I will passionately call on the authorities concerned to come to our aid. We are in their need. Most of them here sleep in this open space without adequate conveniences and clean water, beside other basic needs. Abdullahi Ismail, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Now, social media influencers have been advised to be fair, balanced and responsible in their publications to minimize the spread of fake news. The Chief of Civil Military Affairs, Major General Marcus Kange, made the call while addressing participants at the 18th edition of the Social Media Influencers Seminar in Awka, Anambra State. The theme for the seminar is the Nigerian Army's non-kinetic line of operation, critical roles of social media. Major General Kange said that the essence of the program was to create an avenue for discourse to bridge the gap between the military and the citizens.
It's everybody's business. We therefore acknowledge the fact that you all have very important role to play in the promotion of peace and security in our dear country. It is very obvious that what you say, the way you say it, and how it spreads, have far-reaching implications than most of us think. Because the social media has a very crucial role to play in support of the Nigerian Army's non-kinetic lines of operation, as well as shaping public opinion.
It is a more robust relationship between the Nigerian Army and, of course, those social media influencers, and by extension the Nigerian society, because they are doing an incredible job that need to be applauded, supported and encouraged. Because the bottom line here is that these are a group of people that are sacrificing their comfort and sometimes even their most precious thing, their lives, for the benefit of the Nigerian society, so that people will live better.
Negative news works on people's psyche. Even some people get depressed with so much negativity or negative news around them. It is one thing to say a news is negative, is another thing to say it's not factual. So is this issue of factual or fake news we'll have to work on. And then also being conflict sensitive. There's something that is called conflict sensitive reports. You report a story in such a way that it does not affect people that are watching it.
Vice President YemiOsinbajo has informed President Muhammadu Buhari of his presidential ambition. Reports say that the Vice President told the President of his desire to take over from him at the expiration of his tenure to consolidate the achievements they recorded since they took over from the opposition PDP in 2015. According to reports, the Vice President had first consulted some prominent Nigerians who encouraged him to vie for the presidency, and they also encouraged him to tell the President himself not to allow a third party to tell the President so that the ambition will not be misconstrued. Meanwhile, daughter of the APC national leader and its presidential hopeful Aswaju Tinubus says her father will become president of Nigeria in 2023 despite his health challenges. The grand patron of Asiwaju Tinubus support group said that Bola Tinubus is the right choice for Nigerians even if APC drops its zoning formula. She explained that the crisis rocking the APC and the convention will not deter the party from victory.
But anybody can say whatever they likes. Even motor vehicles break down. He was down for some time and he's been taken care of. For now, he's healthy. It's very obvious who sees it. So I believe strongly that the election is going to, the convention is going to hold on the 26th of March, inshallah. It will go. Inshallah.
Staying with political matters, chieftains of the All Progressives Congress APC have been speaking on the factors leading to the lingering leadership crisis rocking the party ahead of the 2023 elections. Some of them attribute the crisis to inordinate ambitions, struggle for political relevance, lack of assertive leadership as some of the factors tearing the party apart. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
The embattled chairman of the party's caretaker and extraordinary convention planning committee, Mema Labuni, has been accused of planning to delay the gathering as a strategy to realize his political ambition, leading to a series of postponements of the party's convention.
The biggest problem here is not the confusion and the interest that is playing this whole balloon. It's about the laws that establish the procedural operation of the party. Are we in tune with the procedure of the party or not? That is where we should pay serious attention to. Because lack of following due process or frequent procedural violation could lead to the party not even presenting candidates for the 2023 election. And this is a very serious problem. We've seen it in Zamfara State. And we've seen it happening in so many places. So we should be very, very careful about playing party politics without recourse to the law.
What simply needs to be done is to give every member of this party a sense of belonging. Not forgetting the founding fathers and the parties that came together to form the APC. One, which is the CPC, led by President Buhari, the ACN, led by Asiwaju Bola Tinubus, ABGA, led by Rocha Sokrocha, AMPP, led by Yari, Shetima, and the host of them.
A Gestapo-like leadership takeover staged by a group of governors through the Niger State Governor Sani Bello, who is also a member of the CECPC, is alleged to be a desperation to hijack the party and decide who runs its affairs and by extension the various anticipated contests.
Most of them are leaving governors, they are exiting. After 2023, there is no position again for them to occupy than higher offices. So they are all aiming for higher offices. Most of them are bidding for deputy vice presidential offices, so they have their own interests. Some people want the zoning to be done to the south. Some people want zoning to be open. Let the presidency come from anywhere. People like us, we don't believe in zoning. We believe that the zone of influence should produce the president. Wherever we have a massive vote, we should pay attention to that zone. So some people say no, that it should be zoned to the south. They hide under the guise of being fair so that they can be vice presidents.
This party should, as a matter of urgency, to respect the rule of law and obey the court judgments and orders where they exist. And when this is done, it will also give everyone a sense of belonging.
With the scheduled March 26 National Convention shrouded in uncertainties, due to threats arising from litigations, possible breach of INEC and party guidelines. Concerns remain on the ability of the ruling party to navigate through the landmines and still emerge stronger. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up shortly. Story of 3 siblings running successful business. Details and more after the break. This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story. Thanks for staying, and let's have another look at the top stories again. Academic Staff Union of Universities extends its warning strike for another 2 months as negotiations continue. 7th batch of Nigerian evacuees from Ukraine arrived Nigeria Monday at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. And in other news, Nigeria on Friday confirmed 36 fresh COVID-19 infections in 3 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control said the cases were reported in 3 states and the Federal Capital Territory. According to the agency, 32 patients were discharged on Sunday after they recovered from the infection. Nigeria now has the total confirmed cases of 254,989, with 249,372 discharges, 3,142 deaths. In other updates, the World Health Organization says it is too soon to declare COVID-19 an endemic, as cases are still rising in some parts of the world. According to the organization, the proclamation is not being considered at this time, but rather focused on what conditions will indicate that the public health emergency proclaimed on January 30, 2020 has ended. Saadu Isiaka is visually impaired for over 35 years, but he chooses to walk rather than beg, as many blind will resort to. He grinds dried cassava with 2 of his brothers, Nasiru and Suleiman, in Aguare at Tisbo local government area of Oyo State, making them popular among locals. The report.
Food made from alubo flour is a favorite menu on the table in this community. Little wonder that Saadu and his brothers find consolation earning livelihood from grinding dried cassava. The 3 are blind but motivated and courageous. Saadu lost his vision in his mid-30s after trying orthodox and traditional medicine without success. He now runs grinding dried cassava business with near perfection. As a prince, though blind, he says he cannot resort to begging. According to him, he will rather do something dignifying for a living. It was Suleiman that first bought the machine and gave it to some people to run, but they later left. I learned how to operate the machine on my own, and I can start the machine including putting its belt. I have never gotten injured all along and no incident happened. The machine is getting old and we want to replace it. If we get assistance, we would be happy. He is still ambitious and expanding his horizons by venturing into other vocations.
2005.
I started experiencing this eye problem in the year 2005. I used to be a motorcycle mechanic. I'm married with 2 children. I actually spent a lot of money on the treatment of this eye problem with no remedy. So since then, I haven't had anything to do except with friends who often help me. Some of my friends even went to the extent of making me gain back my vision, but to no avail. I only attended elementary school. where I had my first living certificate in 1985. When I used to be a mechanic, I had a lot of apprentices working for me, but since I lost my vision, all my apprentices left me and I tried everything to make a living without success until I decided to venture into the milling business, and God has been faithful. At least through this business, I've been able to feed my family and myself. All I want from the government is that they should assist me financially because, even before my ordeal, I was always a motorcycle dealer. I wouldn't mind getting financial assistance from the government to help revive my old motorcycle dealership business. My name is Nasiru Isiaka. I am from Agwari, Oyo State. I am a grain miller. I and my elder brother, Seidu Isiaka, are the one managing this milling business outlet. I don't know the price of a miller machine should anyone want to help out. My name is Suleiman Isiaka. We were all born and bred in Agwari, Oyo State. I only attended primary school to standard 6. I was a vehicle mechanic at some point, but the moment I lost my sight, I started trading in perishable goods and foodstuff. But I am constrained financially to extend the business further. I am married to 3 women and each of them gave me a child. At the moment, we are pleading with Nigerians, especially the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde. We need help in a lot of ways because we are all from the same biological parent. If the government and well-wishers could help us in any way so that we can take care of ourselves and also send our wards to school, that would be awesome for all of us. And it would be nice if the government would help us out with tools too, for me and my brothers. Sometimes I do trade on livestock as well, to resell for gain. Saadu is an example of hope even when the future may look bleak for people with disability.
Inspiring indeed. Our Center for Environmental Sustainability and Development Awareness has commenced a sensitization campaign to create awareness on the dangers of open defecation in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Open defecation has been a recurring problem in most urban centers in Nigeria. Sagir Ibrahim has more.
According to the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, the rate of open defecation in Nigeria has remained steady at 23%, and as many as 46 million Nigerians still defecate in the open. It is in light of this that the Center for Environmental Sustainability and Development Awareness (CESDA) is carrying out a public sensitization and awareness creation on the effect of open defecation and cholera on children below 5 years in markets and motor parks within the Federal Capital Territory.
The whole essence of why we are here today is to ensure that we keep a very clean environment. It's on the wake of this that we actually, feel that we need to come around, to Itaku Market, having identified Itaku Market as one of the largest markets in Abuja, given the population and given the reports that we commissioned earlier, sometimes in 2020, that actually named Itaku Market as one of the places that are prone to open defecation.
Mr. Olushola explained that the center intends to continue with the exercise in other parts of the territory to create awareness on proper sanitation and hygiene.
We want to encourage people to make good use of the toilet. And that's why, we are here today. One, to ensure that we clean up the market, which we have done in the morning. Then secondly, to make sure that we sensitize people. This continues. It's not limited to Itaku Market. We have equally mapped out some other markets in Abuja, as well as motor parks in Abuja. Arising from here, next week we are going to be going, to life camp, garden, and parks. So where is equally prone, to open defecation.
Some members of the market executive also lent their voices to the campaign.
Cleaning of environment is very, very important for every human being. As far as you are healthy, you need to protect yourself. That protection of yourself, it is even better than any medicine or having any cure.
The issue of cleanliness is very, 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 very important, especially with the women. In our environment, in our houses, needs to be kept clean at all times. We need to take care of ourselves, proper hygiene. In anything we do, our environment, to make sure everywhere is well cleaned.
We are grateful to have people who are thinking about our good well-being in respect of keeping our environment clean and sensitizing our traders on the habit of cleanness.
The high point of the exercise was the distribution of flyers and infographic materials, as well as the distribution of aprons to traders in the market. Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
All right, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, says the Nigerian economy will get a boost of about $360 billion from the Lekki Deep Seaport in 45 years when the project is completed. The minister stated this in Lagos on Sunday, shortly after inspecting ongoing work at the project site. Amechi noted that the privately funded project is expected to allow investors to recoup their money, after which they will hand over the seaport to the federal government. He expressed the government willingness to connect the Lekki Deep Seaport to a rail line, however, raised concern over scarcity of funds. Now, a day after, well, let's take a look at stories from the foreign scene. A day after Moscow escalated its offensive by shelling areas close to the Polish border, besieged Ukrainians hope renewed diplomatic talks with Russia might open the way for more civilians to evacuate. This comes at the International Committee of the Red Cross warns that residents of Mariupol face a worst-case scenario unless Russia and Ukraine reach an agreement to ensure humanitarian access. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warns that the Russian attacks could expand to neighboring countries and urges NATO to impose a no-fly zone. Ukraine reports that at least one person has been killed and the 3 others injured when a shell hit a residential building in Kyiv. And with that, we have come to the end of Trust News Update, but you can connect with us via our social media platforms and also subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch us live. I am Ayuba Ilia. Thank you for watching.